I'm going to start with a couple of. It's a full moon tonight. Did you know that? The beaver moon. That's right. I'm going to start with a couple of short poems by Jack Kerouac about the moon. And this one is one of three Tangier poems. Ah, but ah, where ocean water kisses beach sand, lonely living blue balloon, the boys are kicking the ball far across the field. The lonely goalie waits what the Buddhas are saying in the upper air. Fish film facing lost life sea, my sweet spring sex loins joined to yours beneath the molten moon. And one more moon poem for the lunacy. The moon. The moon, her magic bee, big sad face of infinity. As illuminated clay ball manifesting many gentlemanly remarks, she kicks a star, clouds foregather in scimitar shape to round her, cradle out, upside down, any old time. You can also let the moon fool you with imaginary orange balls of blazing imaginary light in fright, as eyeballs hurt and foregathered wink to the wince of the seeing of a little sprightly ote, which projects spikes of light out the round smooth blue balloon, ball full of mountains and moons, deep as the ocean, high as the moon, low as the lowliest river lagoon, fish in the tar and pull in the spar, Billy de Bud and Hanshan Emperor, and all wall moon gazers since Daniel Matree, Yeats, see, gaze at the moon, ocean marking the face. In some cases, the moon is you. In any case, the moon. All right, I'm going to read three short passages from Desolation Angels, which is something I've been reading Kerouac for a number of years now up here, and I've never read from Desolation Angels, and I just started reading it, and I thought, wow, I should have read from this before. And accompanying me tonight is Josh Weinstein. Some of you may be familiar with him from All Soul, No Borders, Sunday nights at KDHX, and Josh has been so generous as to agree to back me up tonight. Desolation Angels was written in 1956. It took Kerouac a few years to write it. I think he finished it in 61. It was not published until 65. And it's very interesting. I'm going to start with a piece where he talks about the jazz. Let's go to the cellar and hear the jazz. So we cut around the corner, and just as we walk in the street door, I hear them baying down there, a full group of tenors and altos and trumpets riding in for the first chorus. Boom! We walk in just in time for the break. Bang! A tenor in taking the solo. The tune is simply Sweet Georgia Brown. The tenor rides it big and heavy with a big tone. They've come from Fillmore in cars, with their girls or without. The cool colored cats of Sunday San Fran in incredibly beautiful, neat sports attire to knock your eyes out. Shoes, lapels, ties, no ties, studs. They've brought their horns in taxis and in their own cars, pouring down into the cellar to really give it some class and jazz now. The Negro people who will be the salvation of America. I can see it now because the last time I was in the cellar, it was full of surly whites waiting around a desultory jam session to start a fight, and finally they did, with my boy Rainey, who was knocked out when he wasn't looking by a big man, brutal 250-pound seaman who was famous for getting drunk with Dylan Thomas and Jimmy the Greek in New York. Now everything is too cool for a fight. Now it's jazz. The place is roaring. All beautiful girls in there, one mad brunette at the bar drunk with her boys. One strange chick I remember from somewhere wearing a simple skirt with pockets, her hands in there, short haircut, slouched, talking to everybody. Up and down the stairs they come. The bartenders are the regular band of Jack, and the heavenly drummer who looks up in the sky with blue eyes, with a beard, is wailing beer caps of bottles and jamming on the cash register, and everything is going to the beat. It's the beat generation. It's Beat. It's the beat to keep. It's the beat of the hearts. It's being beat and down in the world, and like old-time lowdown, and like in ancient civilizations, the slave boatmen rowing galleys to a beat and servants spinning pottery to a beat. The faces. There's no faces to compare with Jack Mingers, who's up on the bandstand now with a colored trumpeter who outblows him, wild and dizzy, but Jack's face, overlooking all the heads and smoke. He has a face that looks like everybody but you've ever known and seen on the street in your generation, a sweet face, hard to describe, sad eyes, cruel lips, expectant gleam, swaying to the beat, tall, majestical, waiting in front of the drugstore. A face like Huck's in New York, Huck whom you'll see on Times Square, somnolent and alert, sad, sweet, dark, beat, just out of jail, martyred, tortured by sidewalks, starved for sex and companionship, open to anything, ready to introduce new worlds with a shrug. The colored big tenor with the big tone would like to be blowing Sonny Stitts clear out of Kansas City roadhouses, clear, heavy, somewhat dull and unmusical ideas which nevertheless never leave the music, always there, far out, the harmony too complicated for the motley bums of music understanding in there, but the musicians here. The drummer is a sensational 12-year-old Negro boy who's not allowed to drink, but can play. Tremendous. A little lithe, childlike Miles Davis kid, like early Fats Navarro fans you used to see in Espen Harlem. Hep, small. He thunders at the drums with a beat which is described to me by a near-standing Negro connoisseur with a beret as a fabulous beat. On piano is Blondie Bill, good enough to drive any group. Jack Minger blows out and over his head with These Angels from Fillmore. I dig him. It's terrific. I just stand in the outside hall against the wall, no beer necessary, with collections of in and out listeners, with Sliv, and now here returns Chuck Bierman, who is a colored kid from West Indies who barged into my party 6 months earlier high with Cody, and the gang and I had a Chet Baker record on, and we hoofed at each other in the room. Tremendous, the perfect grace of his dancing, casual like Joe Louis casually hoofing. He comes in now dancing like that, glad. Everybody looks everywhere. It's a jazz joint and beat generation mad trick. You see someone, hi, then you look away elsewhere for something else, someone else. It's all insane. Then you look back, you look away, around. Everything is coming in from everywhere in the sound of the jazz. Hi, hey. Bang! The little drummer takes a solo, reaching his young hands all over traps and kettles and cymbals and foot pedal. Boom! In a fantastic crash of sound. 12 years old. What will happen? Me and Sliv stand bouncing to the beat, and finally the girl in the skirt comes to talk to us. It's Gia Valencia, the daughter of the mad Spanish anthropologist sage who lived with the Pomo and Pit River Indians of California. Famous old man whom I'd read and revered only 3 years ago while working the railroad out of San Luis Obispo. Bug, give me back my shadow, he yelled on a recorded tape before he died, showing how the Indians made it at Brooks and old California prehistory before San Fran and Clark Gable and Al Jolson and Rose Wise Lazuli and the jazz of the mixed generations. Out there's all that sun and shade is same old doodlebug time, but the Indians are gone, and old Valencia is gone, and all's left is his charming, erudite daughter with her hands in her pockets digging the jazz. She's also talking to all her good-looking men, black and white. She likes them all. They like her. This next short session from Maggie, from Desolation Angels, refers back to Kerouac's book Maggie Cassidy, which is a nostalgic novel of love and adolescence, what Ginsberg described as a novel about Jack Kerouac's rich adolescence and woe time. I wake up in the middle of the night and remember Maggie Cassidy and how I might have married her, and been old Finnegan to her Irish lass Pluribel, how I might have got a cottage, a little ramshackle Irish rose cottage among the reeds and old trees on the banks of the Concord, and would have worked as a grim, be-jacketed, gloved, and be-baseball-hatted brakeman in the cold New England night. For her and her Irish ivory thighs, her and her marshmallow lips, her and her brogue and God's green earth and her 2 daughters. How I would have laid her across the bed at night, all mine, and laborious sought her rose, her mine of a thing, that emerald dark and hero thing I want. Remember her silk thighs and tight jeans, the way she folded back one thigh under her hands and sighed as we watched television together. in her mother's parlor, that last haunted 1954 trip I took to October Lowell. Ah, the rose vines, the river mud, the run of her, the eyes. A woman for old Deleuze? Unbelievable by my stove and desolation midnight that it should be true. Maggie Adventure. The claws of black trees by moonlit rosy dusk mayhap and by chance hold me much love too, and I can always leave them and roam along. But when I'm old by my final stove and the bird fritters on his branch of dust in old Lowell, what'll I think, Willow? When winds creep inside my sack and give me bareback blues, and I go bent about my meritorious duties in the sod-covered earth, what love songs then for old bedawdler bog-bent foggy Jack O? No new poets will bring laurels like honey to my milk. Sneers. Sneers of love, woman, were better, I guess. I'd fall down ladders, brayback, and wash me river underwear. Gossip me wash lines. Air me Mondays. Phantasm me Africas of housewives. Leer me daughters. Panhandle me marble heart. But it might have been better than what it may be. Lonesome, unkissed, Deleuze lips, surling in a tomb. And I'll read one last short excerpt. I've always got to read a little bit of something sexy by Jack because I think he's such a great love writer. But oh, Serena, come with me to my bed of woes. Let me love you gently in the night. Long time, we got all night, till dawn, till Juliet's rising sun and Romeo's viol sink, till I have slaked my thirst of samsara at your portal rosy petal lips, and left savior juice in your rosy flesh garden to melt and dry and ululate another baby for the void. Come, sweet Serena, in my naughty arms, be dirty in my clean milk, and I'll detest the defecate I leave in your milky empowered cyst and vulva chamber, your cloacian chlorophyll hool, through which slowly drool the hall jism to castles in your hassle flesh, and I'll protect you trembling thighs against my heart, and kiss your lips and cheeks, and lair and love you everywhere, and that'll be that. Thanks, Josh. That's right, but I'm not reading that one this year. You're a fat mouth, Soulier. And last but not least from Jack, the only people for me are the mad ones, the ones who are mad to talk, mad to live, mad to be saved, desirous of everything at the same time. The ones who never yawn or say a commonplace thing, but burn, 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 like the fabulous yellow Roman candles exploding like spiders across the stars, and in the middle you see the blue center light pop, and everybody goes, ah.